The truck arrives at 8:47 a.m. You know because the app told you. Every second of that morning feels like a holiday. You have watched 142 YouTube videos. You have defended Tesla at 3 family dinners. You have explained to your partner, it's not just a car, it's the future. And now, the future is backing down your driveway on a flatbed. The delivery experience in 2026 is polished. Tesla has learned from years of customer complaints. The car is clean. The mobile connector is in the trunk. A single QR code on the window links to a 3-minute walkthrough video. No handshake. No congratulations. Just an app notification, vehicle ready for pickup. You walk around the car slowly. This is the ritual every owner knows. You check the rear bumper gap. You inspect the glass roof for micro cracks. You press the frunk, it closes smoothly. Good. Then you see it. A tiny paint imperfection near the driver's side mirror. Smaller than a grain of rice. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Your heart drops. Not because the flaw matters. But because the moment is broken. You open the Tesla app. You find the service request button. You upload a photo. The system says, mobile service appointment available in 11 days. You exhale. Fine. But something has shifted. The car is no longer perfect. It is now a project. Here is the hidden truth that no delivery day video prepares you for. Tesla owners become amateur quality inspectors. Within the first week, you will find 3 more small issues. A slightly misaligned taillight. A weather seal that lifts at highway speed. A rattle in the rear passenger door that only appears at 70 miles per hour. None of these stop the car. All of them live in the back of your mind. Tesla's 2026 build quality is measurably better than 2022. The gigacasting process has matured. The new suspension tuning absorbs potholes. But perfection is expensive, and Tesla optimizes for volume. Every car leaves the factory with what engineers call acceptable variation. Translation: your car is 98% perfect. The remaining 2% is your emotional labor. The first night, you sit in the garage. The car is silent. The cabin lights pulse once as the computer goes to sleep. You realize something strange: you miss the dealership experience. You miss someone handing you keys and saying, "You made a great choice." Instead, you have an app, a credit card-sized key, and a quiet voice asking, "Did I make a mistake?" No. You did not. But the joy of delivery is always followed by the silent doubt. And that doubt never fully disappears. It just learns to live in the passenger seat. Week 2. You have not installed a home charger yet. You told yourself you would figure it out. That was a mistake. Here's what the salesman, or rather, the website, does not explain. The Tesla Model Y is designed for people who own driveways. If you park on the street, if your apartment building has 6 chargers for 200 units, or if your landlord says maybe next year, then your experience will be completely different from the glossy ads. Let us follow a typical Tuesday. You wake up with 18% battery. Enough for your commute. But not enough for the after-work grocery run. You tell yourself you will charge during lunch. There is a supercharger near your office, 8 stalls. You arrive at 12:30 p.m. All 8 are full. 3 more cars are waiting. You join the queue. 15 minutes pass. A stall opens. You plug in. The screen says, 30 minutes to 80%. You walk to a fast food restaurant. You eat alone. You watch the app. When you return, your charging session cost $22. That is more than gasoline would have been for the same distance. This is the charging illusion. Convenience is not the same as freedom. Superchargers are fast, 250 kW, 15 minutes to 200 miles. But speed does not matter if you are always waiting. And in 2026, with EVs approaching 25% of new car sales, the waiting is real. Now let us compare 2 owners. Owner A** lives in a house. Installed a $1,500 level 2 charger in the garage. Wakes up every day to 80% battery. Never thinks about charging except on road trips. Loves the car. Owner B** lives in a rented apartment. Uses public chargers. Spends 4 to 6 hours per week planning, waiting, and rerouting. Develops a low-level anxiety about the battery icon. Still likes the car. But sometimes, at 11 p.m., sitting in a dark parking lot waiting for a charge to finish, they ask, was this supposed to be easier? The hidden truth is brutal. Home charging is the difference between love and tolerance. Without it, the EV lifestyle becomes a part-time job. You learn which grocery stores have working chargers. You avoid trips that exceed 180 miles in winter. You become a data analyst of your own convenience. Winter makes everything worse. At 20 degrees Fahrenheit, range drops by 30 to 40%. The battery conditioning system runs constantly. That 340-mile range becomes 210. And the supercharger, which usually delivers 250 kilowatts, slows to 120 kilowatts because the cold chemistry resists fast charging. A 20-minute stop becomes 40 minutes. In the dark. In the cold. With a toddler asking, "Are we there yet?" Yet, there is a strange beauty to it. Owners who embrace the slower pace discover something unexpected: patience. They learn to carry a book. They take walks around unfamiliar towns. They sit in silence and watch the snow fall on their glass roof. The car forces a rhythm that gasoline never did. Gas stations are frantic: 5 minutes, coffee, go. Charging is a pause. Some owners learn to love the pause. Others never do. By 2026, Tesla has improved the navigation system dramatically. It now predicts charger wait times with surprising accuracy. It suggests alternate routes to less busy stations. But the fundamental truth remains: electric cars do not save time. They redistribute it. ***. The question is not whether charging works. It does. The question is whether you have the personality and the parking situation to accept the redistribution. If you own a garage, you will laugh at this chapter. If you rent, you will feel a knot in your stomach. Let us talk about the ghost in the machine. At 50,000 miles, something changes. It is subtle. You notice it on a familiar route, the same highway you drive every Thursday. In the past, you would arrive at your destination with 32% remaining. Now you see 27%. The battery icon seems to fall faster. Or maybe you are imagining it. This is battery degradation anxiety. And in 2026, it has become a psychological condition recognized by no one but understood by every long-term EV owner. The science is straightforward: lithium-ion cells lose capacity over time. Tesla's 2026 battery chemistry is excellent. The latest generation of nickel-manganese cobalt, NMC, cells degrades at roughly 1 to 2% per year for the first 5 years, then slows. After 100,000 miles, most Model Ys retain 88 to 92% of original range. That is actually remarkable. No gasoline engine operates at 90% efficiency after 100,000 miles. But gasoline engines do not advertise their decline on a glowing screen that you stare at for hours every week. The problem is not the battery. The problem is the visibility. Every time you sit in the driver's seat, the range number is right there in the top corner, always watching, always counting. You cannot ignore it. You cannot pretend it is not there. And so you begin to change your behavior. You stop charging to 100% unless absolutely necessary. Tesla recommends 80% for daily driving, and you follow the rule religiously. You avoid supercharging too often because high-speed DC charging generates heat, and heat accelerates degradation. You accelerate gently from stoplights not because you want to, but because hard launches pull high current from the cells. You have become a battery caretaker. And somewhere along the way, you stopped enjoying the car. Here is the hidden truth that Tesla service centers will confirm if you ask the right person: The owners who worry most about battery health are the ones who degrade it fastest. Constant anxiety leads to obsessive micromanagement, which leads to more shallow charge cycles, which actually confuses the battery management system. The healthiest batteries belong to owners who simply plug in every night and drive normally. But try telling that to someone who just saw their estimated range drop from 340 to 326. The warranty offers cold comfort. Tesla guarantees the battery for 8 years or 120,000 miles, with a minimum 70% capacity retention. If your battery falls below 70% within that period, they replace it. But 70% is low. At that point, your 340-mile car becomes a 238-mile car. Still usable, but very different from what you bought. And after the warranty? In 2026, a third-party battery replacement costs $12,000 to $15,000. Remanufactured packs are available for $8,000. That is less than it used to be, but still more than many owners want to pay for a car that might be worth $25,000. The happiest battery owners are the ones who adopt a philosophy of acceptance. They watch the range decline slowly, shrug, and say, "I'll charge more often." They treat the car as a tool, not a treasure. They remember that they bought a vehicle to drive, not to preserve. But the anxious ones, the ones who check battery health reports monthly, who join online forums debating cell balancing, who keep spreadsheets of charging habits, they suffer more than any faulty cell ever could. They have turned a car into a worry. And the car does not care. One night, a worried owner sits in their garage at 2 a.m. They cannot sleep. They open the Tesla app just to check the battery percentage. 79%. Fine. They close the app. Then open it again. Still 79%. They close their eyes. Behind their eyelids, they see the range number ticking down. Asterisk tick. Tick. Tick asterisk. The car is not dying. But something else might be. It begins innocently enough. You wake up one morning. You walk to the car. The screen shows a green dot. Software update available. You tap install. You go back inside for coffee. 20 minutes later, you return. The car greets you with a new animation. The turn signal sound is slightly different. The touchscreen has new icons. You spend 10 minutes exploring. You feel happy. A small, unexpected joy delivered while you slept. That is the moment you become addicted. Tesla understands something that legacy automakers do not. The human brain craves novelty. When you buy a BMW or a Ford, the car is frozen in time. The day you drive it off the lot is the best it will ever be. From that moment forward, it only ages. But a Tesla improves. New features arrive. Old bugs disappear. The car you drive in year 3 is better than the car you bought on day 1. This is the software seduction. And it changes you permanently. After 6 months of Tesla ownership, regular cars feel broken. You sit in a friend's new Honda. You look for the giant screen. It is small. You reach for the voice command that controls the climate. It does not exist. You wait for the navigation to show charger availability. It shows nothing. The Honda is fine, it is reliable, comfortable, sensible. But it is also static. And static feels like death. By 2026, Tesla's software ecosystem has matured into something closer to an operating system than a car interface. Version 12.5 introduces native Apple Music integration, Zoom meetings while parked, and a camp mode that rivals a small RV. Version 12.6 adds live traffic visualization from other Teslas. You see brake lights ahead before you can see the actual cars. Version 12.7 brings improved voice recognition that finally understands, "Take me to the nearest coffee shop with oat milk." Each update feels like Christmas morning for adults who buy their own presents. But here is the hidden truth that no update notification mentions: you will pay for this magic. Repeatedly. And silently. In 2026, Tesla has mastered the art of subscription fatigue. The base car is excellent. But the car you want requires monthly payments. Premium connectivity, $10 per month for live traffic, satellite maps, and video streaming. Without it, the navigation still works but without the colorful traffic overlay that you now cannot live without. Full self-driving, $8,000 upfront or $99 per month. Acceleration boost, $2,000 one time for a 0.5 second faster 0 to 60 time that you will use exactly 4 times. Rear screen entertainment package, $30 for a controller that the car should have included. You start adding $10 here, $99 there. You tell yourself it is fine because you are saving on gas. But the savings evaporate into software. And the worst part? You do not mind. The updates come so frequently, the dopamine hits so reliably, that you stop tracking the total. You just tap subscribe and move on. By year 2, the average Model Y owner spends $1,200 annually on software features and subscriptions. That is $100 per month. More than the savings on gasoline in many states. The car has become a recurring expense disguised as a one-time purchase. The addiction runs deeper than money. It runs to identity. Tesla owners do not just own a car, they are part of a living ecosystem. When a friend asks, "What's new with your car?" you have an answer. Last week, the car learned to parallel park itself. Next week, it might get a holiday light show. The car gives you something to talk about. It makes you interesting. Or so you tell yourself. One night, you are sitting in the car after work. You are not driving anywhere. You are just sitting. Browsing the toy box. Playing the built-in video games. Watching Netflix on the 15-inch screen. Your partner texts, "Coming inside?" You reply, "Soon." 20 minutes pass. The car has trapped you in its ecosystem. And you are smiling. The legacy automakers are catching up. In 2026, Ford, GM, and Hyundai offer over-the-air updates. But their updates are annual, not weekly. Their screens are smaller. Their animations are clunkier. They do not understand the psychology that the update itself is the product, not the feature. Tesla understands. And that is why, even after reading this, even after knowing the costs, you will still tap install the next time that green dot appears. Because the car is not just transportation anymore. It is a relationship. And leaving a relationship is hard. Let us be clear about one thing, in 2026, full self-driving is not self-driving. The name is a lie. Tesla knows it. The regulators know it. Owners learn it within the first hour. But the lie is so seductive that almost no one demands a refund. Because when FSD works in those rare, perfect moments, it feels like magic. Let us describe a good FSD moment. You are on a divided highway. The sun is setting behind you. Traffic is light. You engage FSD with 2 taps of the right stalk. The steering wheel tightens. The visualization shows blue lines projected on the road ahead. You take your hands off the wheel, the car allows 30 seconds now instead of 15. The car changes lanes smoothly to pass a slow truck. It exits the highway, slowing gradually. It navigates a curved off-ramp at exactly the right speed. You feel like a passenger in your own vehicle. For 30 seconds, you forget you are supposed to be supervising. You just exist. The world passes by. The car handles everything. That feeling is why people pay $8,000. Now let us describe a bad FSD moment. You are on a city street. The car approaches a 4-way stop. It stops correctly. But then it hesitates. 3 seconds pass. 5 seconds. The car behind you honks. You press the accelerator to nudge the car forward. The car jerks. Stops again. A pedestrian is standing on the corner, not crossing, just standing. The car sees the pedestrian as a threat. It refuses to proceed. You take over manually. But now the intersection is confused. The car has lost its place in the queue. You run the stop sign out of embarrassment. The car warns, take control immediately. You are already in control. The car did not notice. This is the duality of FSD in 2026. Version 12.6 is dramatically better than version 11. It uses end-to-end neural networks. The car learns from millions of real-world driving clips rather than following hard-coded rules. The result is smoother, more human-like driving. But human-like includes hesitation. Includes errors. Includes moments where the car does something unexpected, not dangerous, just strange, and you realize that you are not relaxing. You are supervising a teenager who has passed their driving test but still makes you nervous on left turns. The hidden truth that long-term FSD owners will admit in quiet moments: the system does not save time or reduce stress. It changes the nature of stress. Instead of worrying about other drivers, you worry about your own car. Instead of scanning for hazards, you scan for situations that might confuse the software. You are still driving. You are just driving in a different way. Tesla publishes safety data. With FSD engaged, the car is statistically safer than a human driver. Fewer accidents per million miles. That is real. That is important. But safety is not comfort. And comfort is what drivers actually want. A car that brakes harder than you would, or accelerates more slowly than you prefer, or takes a turn wider than necessary, none of those are unsafe. All of them are annoying. And annoyance, over time, becomes exhaustion. Many first-time FSD buyers go through a predictable cycle. Month 1 * excitement. Use FSD everywhere. Show friends. Feel like the future has arrived. Month 2 * annoyance. The car does something weird daily. Stop using FSD in complex situations. Stick to highways. Month 3 * acceptance. Use FSD for 60% of highway driving. Never use it on city streets. Realize you paid $8,000 for a lane-keeping assist that is slightly better than basic autopilot. Month 4 * regret. Wish you had saved the money. But cannot admit it out loud because you convinced your partner it was an investment. The happiest FSD owners are those who buy the $99 monthly subscription instead of the $8,000 upfront purchase. They use it for road trips, cancel it in between, and smile at the flexibility. The saddest owners are those who bought the full package, financed it over 60 months, and now pay interest on a feature they barely use. And then there is the competition. In 2026, Ford's Blue Cruise allows hands-free driving on 130,000 miles of highways for $75 per month. GM Super Cruise works on 400,000 miles. Both are more limited than FSD, they do not work on city streets. But for highway driving, which is where 90% of drivers actually want automation, they are more reliable. They hesitate less. They feel more predictable. Tesla still leads in ambition. But ambition is not the same as delivery. And every time the car hesitates at a green light, yes, sometimes it still does that, you remember that you paid extra for this. One evening, a family takes a road trip. The father activates FSD. The car drives for 2 hours without intervention. The children watch movies in the back. The mother reads a book. The father stares at the road, hands in his lap, heart rate normal. It is the best FSD experience of his life. He almost forgets the car is driving. Almost. Then a construction zone appears. Orange barrels everywhere. The navigation has no data on this zone. The car slows. Then stops. Then flashes red, take over immediately. The father grabs the wheel. The moment of peace is over. The car is now a car again. And the father is tired. You saved $1,500 on gas last year. Congratulations. Now let us talk about where that money actually went. The economics of Tesla ownership have a strange shape. The costs you expect, fuel, maintenance, are lower. The costs you do not expect, insurance, tires, depreciation, are higher. And when you add them up, the Tesla Model Y in 2026 is not cheaper to own than a Toyota RAV4 hybrid. It is roughly the same. Sometimes more. Let us start with insurance. In 2026, insuring a Model Y costs an average of $2,400 per year for full coverage. A comparable RAV4 hybrid costs $1,700. That 40% difference is not random. Insurers have 3 reasons. First, Tesla repairs are expensive: aluminum panels, specialized glass, sensors that require calibration after any bumper impact. A minor fender bender that costs $2,000 to fix on a Honda costs $5,000 on a Tesla. Second, repair times are long. Parts availability has improved, but body shops certified for Tesla work are still limited. A 2-week repair on a normal car becomes 6 weeks on a Tesla. Insurers pay for rental cars during that time. Third, driving behavior. Telematics data from Tesla Insurance shows that Model Y owners accelerate harder, brake later, and drive more miles per year than the average driver. Not recklessly, just enthusiastically. But enthusiasm costs money. Now tires. The Model Y weighs 4,555 pounds. That is 1,000 pounds heavier than a RAV4. Every pound presses on the tires. Every launch from a stoplight, that instant torque you love, scrubs rubber off the contact patch. The result, standard all-season tires last 20,000 to 25,000 miles on a Model Y. The same tires last 50,000 miles on a Toyota. A set of 4 quality tires costs $1,200 installed. Rotations every 6,000 miles add another $150 per year. Over 100,000 miles, a Model Y owner spends $4,800 on tires. A RAV4 owner spends $1,200. That difference alone nearly wipes out the gas savings. Depreciation is the hidden knife. In 2022, Teslas held value remarkably well, sometimes appreciating during the supply chain crisis. Those days are over. In 2026, the EV market is crowded. Hyundai's Ioniq 5 offers 300 miles of range with faster charging. Kia's EV9 offers 3 rows for the same price as a Model Y. Rivian's R2, launching this year, starts at $45,000 with better off-road capability. Xiaomi, BYD, and Geely have entered Western markets with cheaper, more refined interiors. Competition is good for consumers. It is terrible for resale value. A 3-year-old Model Y with 36,000 miles now sells for 62% of its original price. That 38% depreciation is slightly worse than the luxury SUV average, 35%. Not catastrophic. But not the Tesla holds value myth from 2021. Buyers who finance the car with a small down payment often find themselves underwater, owing more than the car is worth for the first 2 years. Here is the hidden truth that financial advisors whisper: the cheapest Tesla is a used one. A 2023 Model Y long range with 50,000 miles sells for $28,000 in 2026. That is $20,000 less than new. The battery still has 4 years of warranty. The range has degraded maybe 8%. The software is identical. The only difference is the new car smell and $20,000. But most buyers do not buy used. They buy new because of the psychology. New means no one else's wear. New means the full warranty. New means the delivery day ritual. And Tesla knows this, which is why they have lowered new prices 3 times in 2026 alone. A Model Y long range now starts at $44,990, down from $65,000 in 2023. That is good for new buyers. It is devastating for used values. Every price cut by Tesla ripples through the used market, dropping values by another 5 to 10%. The maintenance myth deserves attention. Yes, no oil changes. No spark plugs. No timing belts. Brake pads last 100,000 miles because regenerative braking does most of the work. Cabin air filters cost $30. Windshield washer fluid is $5. The maintenance savings are real, about $800 per year compared to a gasoline car. But the savings are not enough. When you add insurance, plus $700, tires, plus $600, and depreciation, plus $500 compared to a Toyota, the annual cost of ownership for a new Model Y is $3,000 more than advertised. The car does not bankrupt you. But it does not save you money either. The most financially sound Tesla owners are those who buy a 2-year-old used Model Y, charge at home on off-peak electricity, drive gently to preserve tires, and skip FSD. They enjoy 90% of the experience for 60% of the cost. But those owners are rare. Because the Tesla experience encourages excess. The car begs to be driven hard. The screen begs for subscriptions. The brand begs for new. One night, an owner sits at their kitchen table with a spreadsheet. Gas savings, $1,400. Insurance increase, -$800. Tires, -$600. Depreciation, -$4,000. The total is red. They close the laptop. They look out the window at the white Model Y in the driveway. It looks expensive. It looks beautiful. It looks like an emotion, not a calculation. And for now, that is enough. Ask 10 Tesla owners if they would buy the Model Y again. 7 will say yes immediately. 2 will pause for 3 seconds, then say yes. 1 will say, I love the car, but, and trail off. That one person is the most honest of them all. The relationship between a driver and a Tesla is unlike any other in automotive history. It is not love. It is not hate. It is dependence with ambivalence. You rely on the car. You admire the car. You complain about the car. And you cannot imagine driving anything else. Let us understand both sides. The instant torque never gets old. Even after 50,000 miles.